Oh, hey, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to make a new dress for this Raggedy Ann doll dress that I bought on eBay a while ago. And her dress is not cute. So her and I agreed to make her a new dress. So stay tuned. Okay, well, now that that's off, we need to look at the dress and just kind of see how it's made so I don't mess up the pattern. So this is the back. Obviously, it's got a back seam. It's held together with some Velcro. It's got a little collar. Then on the front, it's probably just cut on the fold. So we're gonna make the pattern for this and get started. I really don't like this dress. Oh, I can't wait to make another one. This thing is so hideous. Ugh. Oh, you're still here. Okay, so back to the ugly dress. So, like we said, gonna make a new dress. But first, we need to get our materials together. So we got some scrap paper of alphanumeric tracing paper. I'm really excited because I love to recycle, and this is not a big project, so I can definitely get away with using some scrap pieces that I've been saving. So start with this. And you can use any kind of paper. You don't have to use alphanumeric paper. You can use newspaper if you really want to. I mean, you just need to make sure you can see your lines. We've got an eraser, a drafting pencil, a Sharpie, so you guys can see what I'm tracing, and we're also going to use our armhole ruler. I'll put a link in the description to all these tools and where I buy these things for discounted student rates. So yeah, check the description. I'm very cheap. Alright, so I might need to get a bigger piece actually. Let's see what happens. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the back piece of the dress. Just gonna kind of flatten this out. This is a very generic shape. I mean, really not a whole lot of thought process behind this. So we're gonna line this up. And what I like to do when there's like a back seam is really line it up as best I can, make a line, or, you know, my center fronts, right? And just kind of cross that. So yeah, it looks like this is going to be our line here. You know, we're going to perfect these lines later, so that way it looks all nice and neat. Alright, so back to where we were. So we have our line drawn for our center front of the back. Center back, actually. I'm so sorry. So we're just going to kind of trace over the half part of this dress. Just do the best you can tracing this. So now we've gotten to the armhole, and what I do is I just kind of put an X where that seam starts, and also do the same here, just where that seam starts. So that way when you peel it back, you kind of have an idea of where that is. All right, so we've got the bottom part of the dress. Now we need to get this shoulder seam distinguished. Mark your X's with the seam. I totally do that. And remember, just bend back. And here's your neck seam. And yeah, that's what we got so far for our center back. So, center back, Raggedy, and dress. I mean, it helps to like know what you're sewing, right? Okay. We also need a ruler. So we're just gonna kind of true up what we did. Because what I did draw is not that pretty, obviously. Just kind of make this look a lot nicer. Just kind of make sure you keep those angles too. Those are important. Even though dolls don't really have curves, you know, you still want to make sure that you get all that together. Gosh, it's so hard picking up stuff with nails. It's so hard. Okay, so we're gonna take our arm curve here for the arm. I mean, it's like pretty cool. You can just totally use this for dolls too. Who would have known, right? All right. And up. And also my neck. Neck curve. Wow, that's really pretty. Now, so you guys can actually see it, because I'm so nice, I'm actually going to do this in black pen so you can see it, and it'll look really cool. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and cut out my front dress piece, and I already cut out my 2 back pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these out, and then we can go ahead and move on to the sleeves. And I'll show you how I'm going to do those. So the cool thing is, you know, it's a doll. We don't really have to pay too much attention to like easing into some things like darting. This is literally for a rag doll, so it doesn't really require much, but very simple shapes. So yeah, this is like a really cool, fun project. If you want to sew something quick and easy. I feel like this is just taking forever. I'm so sorry. Alright, so we got our 2 pieces for a dress. This is the front piece, and we're going to cut on the fold. 2 back pieces. And I'm going to go ahead for this back piece is I'm going to mark at 4 inches just to kind of indicate that I need to close this up with a button or something, some type of closure. Alrighty, so let's move on to the doll sleeves. Alright, so right now what I'm doing is taking some scrap paper and tracing the sleeve of the dress to make the pattern. Just taking a drafting pencil, tracing around the sleeve, pressing down the seam to get the armhole, and then truing up my trace with a ruler and a Sharpie to make sure it looks nice and clean. And I did make a little adjustment. It was a little too big when I traced it, so I slimmed that down and went ahead and added my seam allowances. This is going to be cut on the fold, so that's why I'm only making seam allowances on 3 sides, and the side without a seam allowance, that's where you're going to be cutting on the fold. Okay, well, now we got our sleeve. We've got our front dress piece, and we have our back dress piece. So we're ready to go. So I'll show you what fabric we're going to use, because I didn't even show you guys that. Oops. Okay, really. So, I went to the fabric store where I live in the mountains and found some good stuff. I found this $1.50 wide bias tape. I also found some random white fabric that I need for various projects, so I'm super happy about that. And what we'll be sewing the dress with. This very generic checker, red and white checker fabric. Well, I finally cut out some piece that will fit what I'm doing. I think I was having a little too much fun with that fabric there. So, paperweights and fabric scissors. Gonna cut this out, and then we can start sewing this together and adding embellishments. Oh, so I'm going to make a little snip here. You see where the line is? Just to indicate where I'm going to close this up, which will be somewhere between here. Alright, we're almost done, guys. Just gotta cut these sleeves out, and then we can finally get to sewing this. Alright, now that everything is cut out, I'm gonna go ahead and put my patterns together with a clothespin and put them away. Okay, so because the sleeves are so narrow, I decided to do the hem of the arm sleeve cuff first. So I'm just folding down 1/4 inch right here. And then when I sew it down, I'm going to fold it over again, like you see right here. I'm finishing that off. So that way I have a nice clean finished hem on the cuff that I don't have to sew at the end because it's very little, and it will be very hard to do that with my sewing machine, and I highly recommend that you both do that as well. It will make the sleeves a lot more easier to do. Look at that nice hem. Wow, that looks so nice, cleaned, and professional. And then after you do that, you want to take your wrong sides and press them together like that, and make it nice and straight, and then go ahead and sew that down. And you're going to do this for both sleeves. So just to recap, you really want to sew the hem of the cuff of your arm sleeve first, because doing it afterwards, it's such a narrow loop, or a narrow hole, I'm sorry, it will be really difficult to do. And actually, when I did sew in the sleeves, it was very difficult. I had a very difficult time doing that. So I definitely recommend finding an easier way to do that. For example, doing the hem first. Hello again. Everything is sewed up. I added the sleeves, and here's the back of the dress, and you can see here I made that allowance to add some type of closure. Thinking about maybe a button, maybe a ribbon closure, I'm not sure yet. So I didn't get any footage of me sewing in the sleeves because my battery died, but you can sew it by hand. I did it with my machine. I have to be honest with you, kind of sucked. It was kind of hard. But if you keep practicing, you'll get better at that. Alright, we need to add some details to this dress, and I still need to hem the bottom. I forgot something. Remember that bias tape I showed you guys in the beginning of the video? Well, yes, I am going to be using it. It's already done for me, so all I have to do is literally sew it on. And I'm going to go ahead and just use that around the neckline just to finish that off, because this is cotton and you can see it frays really bad. So you really got to finish those things up. This is a drawer I have with a bunch of stuff. Bunch of trims, ribbons. So I'm going to try to look for something in here to make this dress more interesting, because right now it looks like a picnic table and that's just not going to work out. So yeah, we gotta do a good job on her dress. She doesn't look too happy right now. I have a ton of that. think I found some stuff. Found this cotton eyelet stuff and some smaller version of that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the bottom hem all the way around the bottom of the dress and somehow incorporate this with this on the neckline. Yeah. I forgot to mention, the Raggedy Ann doll originally came with this apron and these cute little panelettes. They were pretty dingy, so I washed them with some warm water and a little bit of bleach, and they turned out super white. And I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate these with the dress because it's cute. Okay, so before I add this trim to the bottom hem of this dress, I need to take it in overall for a hem. So I'm just gonna kind of flip it inside out real quick. Just kind of pull my seams straight. Turn on my machine. And this dress is pretty long, so I'm actually gonna take in like probably a good inch. And because this is cotton, I can kind of just like press it down. I recommend that you get a ruler and actually measure this out. I'm being lazy right now, but you know, always look at what you're doing and make sure it just corresponds. I have to make extra sure because this is checkered fabric, so it will look funky if I don't do this the right way. Alright, I hemmed the bottom of the dress with a zigzag stitch. I really like that. It looks like something vintage doll dress. So now I'm going to go ahead and add this trim to the very bottom. Okay, I zoomed in a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. I really want this to be like a real dainty kind of detail. So I set my machine to a straight stitch and I'm just placing this trim right underneath that hemmed edge and placing it down. And I'm just gonna real slowly do this to make sure I keep an even line. And not rush anything. And I think I'm out of thread. Damn it. Okay. So, like I was saying, I am going to lay my hemmed edge over the trim and just do a straight stitch. Just to kind of give this like a real cute, delicate kind of detail to this boring looking dress. So I'm going to just take it real slow. And my machine sounds really scary right now, and I don't know why. I know I said I'd take that slow, but I didn't. Okay, we're almost done. I'm glad I have enough to go around because I actually wasn't too sure about that. Back stitch. Clean this up. Where are my scissors? Just gotta redo that, but hey, that is super cute. Oh my goodness! We're done with the dress! Well, I'm done with the dress. I don't know if you're done with your dress, but it's done. And yes, I did add the little closure in the back. I decided on a hook and eye, so I just got a needle and thread, and I sewed on this button here with this elastic loop to hold it all together. And I also did something else. I fixed Raggedy Ann's apron. The elastic was very, very loose, so I went ahead and just got some elastic with a zigzag stitch and stretched it and created that stretchy, bunched up effect in the front. So that looks a lot better too. Alright, let's put it on Raggedy Ann and see if she likes her new dress. Oh wow! Look at Raggedy Ann now. That looks so cute. She looks so much better. And there you can see the little detail I did. Her neckline, her cute little apron. I mean, she looks happier already, you guys. Let's ask her. Do you like your dress, Raggedy Ann? Yes. What about your old dress? That dress sucked. I agree. So thanks for watching. I do have other sewing projects coming up, so stay tuned for those and click like and subscribe. I also put in the description materials used and where you can get those as well. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.